Good morning, everyone. This is Christian Duque, MD Noble, weekly episode 26, brought to you courtesy of IronMagLabs.com, your go-to source for all your bodybuilding and fitness supplements. Today is Wednesday, December the 13th, and I'd like to start out the show by remembering Sean Perrine of Flex Magazine, Muscle and Fitness, and countless other publications. I never met Sean, and I wish I would have, honestly, because I've always heard so many positive things about him, about his contributions to the publications, about his love of bodybuilding, about his knowledge of history. So honestly, to hear of his passing at 51 years of age, it really just, it broke my heart. And I just went on social media and I shared photos and just really wanted, to express my condolences to Weeder AMI, to Sean's family, and to the many great people that he met along the way. I mean, there was such a huge outpouring of support on social media, and that only happens, when you're dealing with someone truly very special. So again, rest in peace, Sean Perrine. So the first story today that I'd like to talk about in the whole world of social media drama and feuds and all of that stuff is this ridiculous incident. And I'm not really sure if it's ridiculous because of William Bonac, the Conqueror, or if it's ridiculous because of Louis Marco, the Troll. But, I said this when the news became, out there that Louis would be making an appearance in Kuwait, and then, he announced the appearance in Dubai, and, he's coming from behind the camera. This is somebody that, you can make any argument you want. You can say that he's a journalist. You can say that he's just an observer. You can make a case for the fact that there's a lot of thin skin in bodybuilding. But the reality of the matter is, what's the first thing that Phil Heath did after winning his 7th Sandow, coming off stage? Who's the very first person that he felt the absolute need, the compulsion to make a video about? It was Louis Marco. I mean, he didn't even get to his car. He wasn't even out of the building. And he just had to react to Louis Marco because that is how much Louis Marco had gotten under his skin. This is after tying Arnold Schwarzenegger's record. That's one of the first things that Phil Heath had to do. And we all remember now infamous video that Phil made where he basically sounds like a street tough, and it doesn't sound classy at all, and certainly does not sound ambassadorial as the greatest bodybuilder in the world should be. But I make that point just to illustrate the fact that, Louis Marco could be said to be a troll. And while I don't think that his suggestion to William Bonac to go to Kuwait really amounts to a threat, William really did not, quote-unquote, attack Louis, as I've seen published on some sensationalist reports throughout the internet, really clickbait. He never even, took a stance that was even remotely hostile. He never, first thing, he never took a step back from Louis. After they were speaking, he never took a step back. In other words, it never looked like he was even considering striking range. He never said anything about fighting. He never said that, so really, to me, honestly, I think what happened was when Bonac confronted Louis was then sort of rushed by his security, and I don't know if that was Sporter because he was at their booth, or I don't know if that was his own private security, or I don't know if those folks were linked to Oxygen Gym. I don't know who they were linked to, but they made a point to separate Louis from Bonac. And if you look at the video, they made a very, very concerted effort to make sure that William's arms never left his body. I mean, and it's hard to visualize that, but William was kind of like this, and I don't know if you noticed, but they're barely touching his wrists, barely touching his arms, barely touching his forearms, but they did not want his arms. I mean, it's not like he could hit someone like that, but they didn't even want his arms to come off of his torso. I mean, there was a very concerted effort by that security or whatever those guys were to make sure that there was zero chance of Bonac doing anything. I mean, the guy couldn't even, like, scratch his nose. I mean, these guys were on him like white on rice. And one of the things that bothers me, too, is, like, as Bonac was leaving, it sounds like, because Bonac says it back in response, it almost sounds like Louis Marco told William Bonac, "You're a nobody." Because you can hear Bonac say, "No, you're a nobody." So apparently someone said it. And it's crazy to me because, William Bonac took third at this year's Mr. Olympia. He's the number 3 bodybuilder in the world. So, for a guy that Greg Valentino on Greg Valentino Live last night, Instagram Live, Iron Mag Labs, Greg Valentino said Louis Marco couldn't take 6th place in the bikini competition. For a guy with a physique like Louis Marco's, with the fact that he is not a professional bodybuilder, the fact that not only is he not a professional bodybuilder, he's never competed at the Mr. Olympia, to call, the number 3 bodybuilder in the world a quote-unquote nobody is kind of an indication of how warped social media has become. And how delusional some of these YouTube stars think they are, that they could talk down to the number 3 bodybuilder in the world, calling him a nobody. I mean, that's pretty insane. Also insane, and the whole social media phenomenon, I didn't talk about it last week, and I really don't want to talk about it this week, but this is a news show, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the news. What the hell else am I going to talk about? This whole Vegan Gains Dave Palumbo situation. I mean, Dave Palumbo really, honestly, should thank his lucky stars, because I think my good friend James Tiny Vest of Gorilla with a Cause said it best. It's basically, the young rising star versus the old one. The old, arguably fading star. And he didn't say fading star, but he did make the old young comparison, which I think is pretty noted. I mean, honestly, Dave has had, a little feud there with Nick Strength and Power. Now he's going to have Vegan Gains at RX Muscle, which might actually happen today. I heard, Louis Marco might be on RX Muscle today. I don't know. You hear all these things on the grapevine. What do you know? But the thing is, Louis Marco possibly doing something with RX Muscle. William Bonac, I don't know if he can do something with RX, because I'm pretty sure William's under contract. But, again, the reality of the matter is that Dave and RX Muscle, may get a lifeline, by having this feud with Vegan Gains, and maybe possibly having Louis Marco on there. And maybe, Dave can make 30 episodes of Louis Marco and the William Bonac situation. And, to me, honestly, I'm so happy that I'm associated with Muscular Development, because, Muscular Development, Kevin Levrone, Greg Valentino, you got my show, you got Ask Ron, you got the Ronline Report, you've got an actual magazine with actual articles on actual newsstands. You can go to a real store and open a real door and pick up a real magazine and take it to the checkout and take it home with you and read it. That's a real magazine. Okay? And there's contest coverage, and there's all sorts of studies and journals and reports and scientific hard data and paparazzi photos. This is a real media house. We don't need, and I say we, I'm a part of it in the sense that I'm a part of Team MD. I'm not an employee, but I'm a part of Team MD in spirit. I feel part of the family. And to me, honestly, it's great to be part of something real. I mean, Louis Marco, Vegan Gains, I mean, these are like YouTubers. But the thing is, I guess some websites, that don't have what we have, that don't have a magazine, that don't have actual contest coverage, that don't have, decades in the business, need that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But to me, honestly, like I said the last episode, there's a lull between the end of the contest season and the Arnold Classic when it starts up again. And this is a time when there's not a lot to talk about. And look at what we're talking about. We're talking about Louis Marco, who's basically a nobody with, a video camera and an internet connection, calling William Bonac a nobody. And we're talking about Vegan Gains, a troll, trolling someone who's you know, pushing 50, who just got kicked out of nationals, and who arguably will not have press passes in 2018, possibly. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not Miss Cleo. You're a Libra, aren't you, darling? No, I'm just kidding. But the thing is, you know, it's really, this is kind of like bottom of the barrel type news reporting right here. There's really nothing to talk about. This is what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And it's, get ready for more. I mean, it's not, you know, the season doesn't start till the Arnold Classic, so this is what we'll be talking about. I hope you enjoy it. And, oh yeah, there is one bodybuilding, actual real bodybuilding, not Louis Marco or Vegan Gains, but actual real bodybuilding related news. And that is Kevin Levrone put out a very, very powerful post on Instagram 3 days ago. And, you know, he thanked Robin Chang, and he thanked the IFBB, and he thanked everyone, all of the fans. But he did say, although age is not a number, he did say that 2018 would be the last year that Kevin Levrone would be a competitive bodybuilder. And he said that for him, it was always about inspiring other people. And, you know, to me, honestly, this is a point that, you know, led to some, you know, bickering between myself and Sugar Sean Ray. But, and I conceded to Sean, you know, that, you know, Kevin was not at his best at the Mr. Olympia last year, and that, you know, it wasn't realistic that Kevin could win the competition or even place top 3 or top 5, given, you know, the fact that he was going through physical therapy and a lot of pain and had been off the stage for many years. But the one thing that I said then, that I say today, and that I'll say 10 years from now, is that Kevin inspired a lot of people. And Kevin did it because of his connection to the sport and his connection to the fans. And all of these side arguments about, oh, tarnishing his legacy, or he couldn't have tarnished his legacy because he made a commitment. He accepted an invitation by Mr. Jim Mannion, and he stepped on stage. He didn't let the pain in his knees, he didn't let any situation or any hurdle in his way stop him from getting on that stage. So his legacy is ironclad. But the side arguments about, oh, you know, it's going to hurt his legacy. Oh, you know, he's not going to place well. Oh, he's going to, you know, none of that mattered. None of that mattered. And so, true to his form, sticking to his guns, you know, he says it. You know, it's about inspiring others. And let me tell you something. He inspired a lot of people. A lot of people. He will continue to do so. And I think what's important about Kevin's announcement is not that it shouldn't be looked at, you know, with finality. Okay, so 2018 will be the last year that the Maryland Muscle Machine will compete as an active bodybuilder. It does not mean, however, that this will be it for him in the fitness industry. So in other words, this won't be like going back in time, you know, to when he got into the movies and sort of took that hiatus from the sport. He is going to be very much a fixture. He's got a supplement company. He's got a show on muscular development. I'm sure we're going to see him all around the world at expos and seminars, signing autographs and taking photos. So this is by no means the end of Kevin Levrone's time in the fitness industry, but I do think it's an important announcement in terms of his competitive career. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed MD Noble Weekly. I love doing this show. Again, the passing of Sean Perrine is very, very sad. I wanted it to be the first thing that I talked about, and I also want it to be the last thing that I talk about. You know, 2018 is going to be a great year, but 2017 was very, very rough for the bodybuilding community with the passing of Rich Piana, the passing of Dallas McCarver, the passing of Sean Harris, and of course the passing of Sean Perrine. And it's very, very unfortunate. It's very sad. You know, 51 years of age. I mean, I don't want to say it's a kid, but that's pretty damn young. You know what I mean? And, you know, honestly, it makes me very, very happy, and it gives me a certain level of comfort to see the outpouring of support. I mean, you know, so many people, and you know, it's not too late to do it when you see this video. And it won't be too late in a week from now or a month from now. In fact, in a month from now or a year from now, it's going to be just as special, because it'll mean that you remember him, and that's important, because, I can't tell you, I don't want to go off on a soapbox here, but I can't tell you how angry I get when there's news like this and people are still posting their stupid photos of their chicken breast or their stupid selfie in the gym bathroom or their stupid rant about some fake news article or something. It's like, if you're part of this industry, if you're at the expos, if you're at the meet and greets, if you're at the competitions, and you hear the passing of someone that, at the very least you have heard of, and in some cases you may have known, and you're so absorbed and so inconsiderate about the world around you that you can't even hit a like button, you can't leave a comment. I'm not even asking you to put out a post, but I'm just like, be a human being, have some like have a heart, you know what I mean? People are that just infuriates me. I can't even. You can't force people to have a conscience. You can't force people, to have a heart. But it's just. But that having been said, though, like I said, I take such great comfort in seeing how many people actually care, and how many people put out tweets and Instagram posts and Facebook status updates and took to the message boards. That's a really good sign that we have a lot of people in this industry, in this sport, that truly care. And that's a good thing. But we also have a lot of self-absorbed, totally tactless, totally heartless people. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching MD Noble Weekly. I'm Christian Duque. Thanks again to IronMagLabs.com, your go-to source for all your bodybuilding and fitness supplements.